Today we heard a lot about Earth observation and policy, obviously, about the role that Earth observation can have in order to support the policy, as well as the challenges sometimes that the users may have to integrate this famous why and how. But we heard as well quality, certification on a regular basis. And these two topics are really something that ESA is working a lot for quite a long time. So that's why to close this first half day, I'm really happy to invite Giuseppe Ottavianelli, which is the head of Earth Observation Application Section at ESA. ESA and ERSC have a really long collaboration, and we are working closely together to support. ESA is supporting the association developing innovation, and it's really important to have their view on how they can help to develop this their activity and their industry. So Giuseppe Ottavianelli is working at ESA for 15 years. He covered different positions. Since 2021, he's the head of Earth Observation Application Section, pioneering new EO applications for public benefit, addressing environmental and sustainable development international and European policies through the involvement of stakeholders and end users in the co-design, development, and validation phase. So, Giuseppe, the floor is yours.
Okay, I think there should be some slides on. Can you hear me well? I've been told I should speak very loudly here, otherwise the sound doesn't reach. Fantastic. So, thanks for the opportunity, and good afternoon, everybody, again. It's always a great pleasure, and, you know, EXPANDEO is always a great event in which we can share our views in an open way and collectively, let's say, discuss the current Earth observation community, bringing together the institutional and commercial players together. Today I will be addressing some of the opportunities and challenges that we have to seize and we have to tackle to really unlock the full potential of Earth observation for the European Green Deal. The Green Deal is an overarching political statement of the Union to transform the European society into a modern and, let's say, fully resource-efficient and competitive economy, and of course, in doing that, ensuring that it will be Europe as the first climate-neutral continent by 2050, and to make sure as well that we disentangle the economic growth from the utilization of the natural resources, and as well that no place and no person is left behind. Now, how can we unleash the full potential of Earth observation, and how can we make sure that we are ready to take up that challenge? Let me start with a non-technical issue that was actually raised also by Agnieszka today, and many of you, we heard about this throughout the full other sessions. Agnieszka called it to put a foot into the door. And this one is indeed to have the full legislative acceptance of Earth observation solution from a legal standpoint. We have heard about it today. The Green Deal is translated into policies, strategies, directives, regulations that then are introduced into the national legal systems by the member states' governments. And there is a stronger need to ensure the legal admissibility of Earth observation and also consistency across them in the various member states. So, if we are not able to fully make such new technology and derived information as embraced and fully approved, then it will be absolutely impossible to really mainstream Earth observation in such processes as valid tools, fully robust, fully reliable tools that can support, as we heard today, the enabling of some implementations of specific directives, or the compliance monitoring, or conformity assessment as well, as we heard earlier on for climate carbon markets as well. So we need to keep on pushing overall as a single community in this direction, and this shall be done at a European level, but also at a national and, in certain cases, at a federal level, with all the legal bodies that are entailed in this chain. But now let me go back to what we know, what we are used to, and what we are also familiar with. I've brought here some nice images, and I wanted to ask you, we are also familiar with it. Can you say where these are taken from, or which satellites, which centers, maybe constellation? Let's see what is the knowledge here of, any guess. I'm not taking bets, but any guess. Some broad constellation, maybe type of sensors. Locations. Yes, maybe. Yeah, RLC, yes. Right. Don't be shy. Few more attempts. Some sensors, some constellations. Sentinel-1, yeah. Yes, some SAR images. Sentinel-2, I see there. Right. They're all more or less correct. I've actually produced them myself a few days ago using Microsoft Bing image generator, using simple prompts, and say, so they have been used by leveraging on the experience of AI, of taking all on board the existing data, and when I ask for, a disturbed urban area in high resolution, a forest, a fire, some desertic land close to the sea with nice, phytoplankton type of events on the sea. This is just simple prompts. Why am I showing that? Because the applicability of Earth observation data will be leveraged on one single point of failure, the strengthening of trust with clients. Clients must trust the technology. They must trust the full chain of production of the whole system. And of course, there is also an element of liability in what we all provide as information, as knowledge to our clients. And we have heard it before many times. We need to involve them proactively, our end users, in the full co-creation, development, validation phases. We need to build the capacity. We need to build the acceptance of these new tools. And it seems easy with words, but we know that we're tackling a very heterogeneous type of classes of end users. And so we need to put a lot of efforts in that direction. And our customers, eventually, they become our best ambassadors. And they will relay the importance and value that Earth observation has towards other end users, and therefore unleashing the power of Earth observation. So how can we tackle that level of trust? Maybe from a technological level, but maybe also with blockchain's technology. So we need to keep on exploring the value of technology, but also the cost of this technology if we start introducing them in our full end-to-end chain. Let's see what other emerging technologies we have at hand. We have seen just before with the natural language processing, this is a revolution. This will create an immense earthquake in our industry. Cloudification, we have seen this already with the Sentinel missions in the commercial large constellations as well. For storage, for access, for distribution, bringing the users to the data. We are looking at the 2028-2034 period with the Sentinel expansion missions coming up, the C and D of the current Sentinels, the Sentinel next generations. And we sort of estimate that we will have to handle 1,400 petabytes of data. Today we are at 34. So 2 orders of magnitude increase. That's quite a challenge. So this type of technology will certainly have also to step up to really unblock the full utilization and the full deployment of multi-mission applications for an interdisciplinary type of world. So we're not just talking forest for the forest, inland water bodies for inland water bodies, and so on, but we're bringing together economics into here, the social impact that we have, and well-being for the citizens and future generations. Of course, we will have to leverage on high-performance computing and future possible quantum computing to enable what we're investing on currently with all the digital twin Earth modeling and various components that we will have to invest on. Edge computing, so bringing onboard computing, bringing AI close to the sensor, this will be another game changer for certain specific applications, of course, not for everything. And there will be the new virtual worlds and virtual reality, the metaverse and solutions, things that have to be explored further, of course, and invest on it. We've heard many times in the previous discussions how we need to fuse non-EO data, so coming from drones, the Internet of Things type of technology, gamifications or citizen science is also picking up speed as well. But we've heard it before in this sort of confrontation between, okay, on the one side, I need to scale things up in my applicability. I need to cover regional interest, global interest. But on the other side, I need to respond to very specific requirements from certain users, certain customers that are very specific in what they need, how they need it, when they need it, and therefore they need a very tailored solution. So we need to keep into account the heterogeneity as well of our end users, but at the same time provide global solutions for global problems. Now, I wanted to touch upon those challenges and emerging technologies because on the one side, we have this innovation-rich environment that we are juggling with. Right. Yes. New instruments, new data, new methodologies. But this can be a bit overwhelming and also a bit, disorienting for our customers. And so we need to find an element of balance between keeping on innovating, we cannot stop that, and maybe implement a full-fledged certification approach of the type of information and the type of products and knowledge that we want to produce and deliver. But I guess that high-level certification might also be a killing factor with respect to innovation. So we need maybe to have to meet midway. Harmonizing solutions, blueprints of methodologies that leverage on reproducible, documented methodologies. And we at ESA, we're strongly believers that open science and open innovation is a key factor towards the future and a key enabler approach towards the future and towards this balance between innovating, keep on investing on research and development, and at the same time, a strong, let's say, harmonization of what type of products and information we want to deliver. Overall, I have to say that if we really want to implement effective operational services to empower the European Green Deal, we need to find and strengthen the synergies across the institutional and commercial players, more and more. We know our complementarity, and we need to build on this complementarity more and more. We share values, and therefore we need to build on this synergy of roles, synergy of investments, alignment of vision for the long term, for the benefit of Europe. An entity like ESA will continue to invest in R&D from the science perspective, from applications, pushing for industrial competitiveness in Europe, promoting digital technology and digital innovation. And these investments must act as a de-risking factor for the commercial entities and a springboard as well to push forward the commercialization power of Europe. Now, we are already at full speed on that. We are not doing that by ourselves. We're doing that, of course, with the Commission, with USPA, with entities such as the European Investment Bank and the European Investment Fund, investing in equity or debt financing. But all of this hype is great. We have seen the Financial Times event on investing in space. There are tools already implemented with the incubed mechanisms, with this new scale-up mechanism at ESA. But the hype is certainly very good to invest financing, but it also brings some challenges. Because if we want to expand, we will have to be ready with the capacity of the workforce. And I can tell you that this is an issue in industry. It's an issue everywhere. It's an issue in all the also institutions, public institutions as well. We really need to create and build and implement a talent pipeline for Europe. We need to attract talents to this industry, and we need to leverage on competencies in the digital world, maybe in the creative world as well, and bring them into the space industry. Not to forget that when we're looking at the ESTAT prediction, no surprise, by 2050, so the same target of the EU Green Deal, the median of the age in Europe will be 48.2. So the workforce, the new energy, will be an issue for Europe. And if we're looking at the global market, the key competition in a way, which is a great asset for them, it's Africa, where more than half of the African population by the same date, 2050, will be under 25-year-old. So something to keep in mind. Now, success of the hype of our industry, of space overall, also comes with an obligation. And today, space can be considered as a common societal good. And it's great that it's so, that it's understood. Agnieszka mentioned her trip during the taxi drive. So this is absolutely a fact. But then, if we want to really implement the correct dependability of our assets for operational services, then we need to ensure the reliability of these assets. 24/7. We need to ensure the operational redundancy of those assets. We need to ensure the security of those assets, coming maybe from cybersecurity attacks, or maybe in ground-based processing chains. So we really need to address the full space segment and ground segment and the value-adding steps that there are there in the downstream part. And this also brings a responsibility, being a critical asset. The responsibility both from the public and the private sector, especially in scenarios as the anchor tenancy one, anchor customer relations, or public-private partnerships setups, to deploy all these assets in a sustainable and responsible way. And I'm strongly looking at pointing the finger at space debris, the space debris issues. So we need to keep in mind also the long-term sustainability of this sector. And of course, again, maybe we need to change a bit our jargon to unlock the full potential of EO. Space is not about space. Space is about solutions that we provide. We need to abstract a little bit the assets. All, you know, the talks about the satellites and what else, you know, the constellations, the new technology. We need to provide, you know, maybe just talk about health risk status or early warning messages and solutions, you know, for fast, rapid changes of our environments or trends in the long term of our forest, of our ecosystems, or maybe provide traceability for certain industries and certain verticals. So we need to push for the abstraction of our assets. Let me then show you a few topics that we are working on and will be working on at ESA, together with many stakeholders and many DGs as well from the European Commission. The first one is on an event on carbon markets towards the beginning of October this year. Then a lot of investments will be directed towards ecosystem accounting, ecosystem extent, dynamics, and services, pushing towards natural capital valuation. Natural capital valuation attaching money and a value, an economic value to nature may unlock a critical dimension for Earth observation in terms of monitoring, in terms of reporting, in terms of creating a market around nature that can protect nature. We're seeing many dynamics, many scenarios that are also looking at, for example, nature debt swap in some emerging countries, and the financial institutions are asking themselves, how do I monitor it? How do I quantify this in a transparent, traceable way? Earth observation can do that, so we need to keep on investing with the full commercial industry and make sure that Europe is ready for that. Here below, we have tools that we are developing as prototypes. This is for emissions and concentrations of a number of atmospheric composition elements. And at the bottom right, this was a demonstrator for a green transition done for Austria that showed how Earth observation in a dynamic way could support the green transition type of decisions. Now with that, I want to stop there. I have opened and I leave you with many unanswered questions, but certainly I think we have a great journey ahead of us together, and I think it will be really exciting to go along this journey together and make it a success for Europe. Thank you.
So thank you very much, Giovanni. And let's start to discuss all this question and try to answer this question during the lunch that we have now. Up to 2 sharp, please. This lunch is sponsored by two projects, Great and Protect. So thank you very much for your contribution, and let's meet here at 2 sharp, please. Thank you very much.